This is just a lamp in my room that I was blessed with, the place that I'm staying. Uh, Pretty amazing how Jesus works. I wanted to tell this story about what happened Sunday at church on the beach. We set up and was doing our normal services and got all the chairs set up and was greeting everyone and making sure everybody had an umbrella and making sure everybody had a seat in the shade. And I was at the far end, close to the pier. I'm going to try to hold it together. It's not going to be easy. I was close to the pier and I noticed a man walking, you know, pretty hard, walking away from the church. And uh, I seen him sit down in front of Fort Jerusalem on one of the rocks. And my heart called to me to run and get him a water. I went to the cooler and got a bottle of water and run it over there to him. And he was just sitting there. I didn't realize he was crying till he told me later. But I handed him the water and I just said, I love you. And and of course those wasn't my words. That's just what Jesus wanted him to hear. And I walked away. I went back to the services and there was this big lady that had been there last Sunday, and she didn't feel comfortable sitting in the sand with her chair. So I fixed her up a chair close to the mopeds, and I checked on her and see if she needed anything. And then the lady that does the hula, the amazing lady that sings, I wish I knew everyone's name, but the lady that sings and does the hula. Maybe she don't sing, she just listens to the music and does the hula dancing in front of us. She was there by herself, and when she's by herself, she just shines. She just shines with her and the music all in sync. And I was watching her and got on my knees and was was watching her. And then when she finished, I went over and loved on her and told her what a great job she was doing. And then I turned around and there was this family, a mom and three kids, that was kind of standing on the sidewalk and enjoying the service or watching the service from the sidewalk. And the kids were a little acting up just a little. So I run to the truck and got some buckets and brought the buckets back for them to sit on for the kids. And I joked with the kids and I said, this is going to be bucket church today. And there's two boys and a little girl. And the mom had walked away just a little bit with the girl and said she's she gets a little rowdy sometimes. And I said, well, just let her be rowdy. Some of us needs to, maybe it's the spirit in her, just let her be rowdy if that's what she wants to do. And they sat down, and then I went and got the little girl an umbrella, but I could see that she was a little bitty, little small umbrella. I went and got her an umbrella to hold, and I see she wasn't going to hold it. So I stood there and held it for them for a little bit. And one of the boys says, you don't have to hold that for us. And I said, but I want to. It gets me more attention. It'll be okay. And and so I stood and held it for them for a while, and then finally I seen that that the little girl might be willing to hold it. So I gave it to her, and she was holding it, and then I just I left them alone and walked back over to the other end of the tent, and there was a young guy over there, maybe 19 or 20, and I was kind of sharing story with him, and then I realized the man that I had gave the water to was the father of that family. And after I had gave him the water, he had called his family and wanted them to come down and be a part of our church. And I had no idea what he was upset about or what he was emotional about. But to find out later, one of his youngest child or one of his boys is going to have cancer treatment. And I think they were going to the doctor today. You know, and when I seen that it was him, you know, I went over and loved on him some more and said, "What an awesome family you have." And then I could see that they may have needed prayer, so I gathered again. I wish I knew everyone's name. I'll get better, but I gathered Travis and I, I mentioned it to Andreas and I mentioned it to the one of the couples and told them we have someone we need to pray for and service was almost over. It was almost time for us to start gathering the chairs, but it wasn't over yet. But I gathered a prayer group and we went over and prayed and I just cried like a baby. You know, to know that God had used me to pull all that together. It's still emotional for me. It's still really emotional that he was able to use me to do something so powerful. It meant a lot. But the the kids and the kids and the wife were baptized yesterday, and then they were a part of our ending prayer. And the little kid that has to have cancer treatment, he got in the middle of our circle and prayed. He doesn't know that he has cancer. And Travis and all of us prayed with him. And it was just so emotional. And so glad I got to be a part of it. This is just a memory that I want to remember for as long as I'm on this earth. I want to be able to cherish this memory. I'm going to add it to my Facebook. And I love Jesus, and he's being so good to me, and I'm trying to learn and be a better person every day. And I want him to use me more, whatever he sees fit. I give up my will to you, God. I give up my will to you, and however you see fit to use me, I'm yours. Whatever that takes. I owe it all to you, God. Thank you so much.